Well, if you have been hesitating to start homeschooling because you think you are going to be bored out of your mind being home all the time, then this video today is for you. There is no reason why homeschooling should stay at home. In fact, I would say that homeschooling takes place best when it's outside the walls of your house. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you are not yet on our mailing list to get awesome advice and encouragement into your inbox every week, then please go to goodschooling.net, scroll to the bottom and put in your email address so that I can encourage you through your entire homeschool year. So let's think about this for a minute. We call it homeschooling, and obviously we do end up probably spending more time at home, or I should say our kids end up spending more time at home than they normally would if they were enrolled in public school. But does that mean that you really should have your homeschool based out of your home all the time? I would say, heck no. The best part about homeschooling is the fact that the whole world is your lesson. You can take your homeschooling absolutely anywhere. And when you really think about it, if you were to spend even just one day a week out in some new place, out in some new environment, trying something new, taking a new opportunity, think about all of the incredible input and all of the totally unique situations that your child would have access to that they normally would not get to experience. The whole world can be your curriculum. And yes, that doesn't mean that you have to, put away all the books and never use them. But if you think that homeschooling should only happen inside your house and that you should never go out and experience anything else, then your children's their children's education is going to be incredibly small. The whole world has so much to offer. And even if you don't have the money to world school, traveling all over the place, or road school, in an RV or something like that, many of us would love to. Doesn't mean that we can afford to do it, but you don't have to do those kind of things. Even just taking one day a week, even just one day a month, and just going somewhere new, going to a museum, going on a field trip, going to a town that you've never been to before, looking online to find out what are some unique places in our state that we can visit, some historical spots, maybe a place where there's the oldest house in your state, or a place where, some kind of historic battle took place. When you take advantage of these opportunities, your kids are not only getting the chance to get outside the house and go somewhere else, but they are also learning that learning is not compartmentalized. It is not separate from real life. And we don't want our children to think that learning is something that happens separate from real life. That's one of the ideas that unfortunately makes conventional schooling really kind of stiff and inflexible, is the idea that we study math only when we're studying math, and then we study history only when we're studying history, and we only study science when it's time to study science. Everything is very compartmentalized, everything is very separated out, but that's not what real life is like. And we as adults know that the best way to learn is when you are interested in something and it's relevant to your life and you're motivated to learn it. That's how we learn as adults once we get out of school, right? We learn the things that we want to learn because for whatever reason, maybe for a job or a promotion, or because we've found something we're really excited about learning about, we become motivated. And because it is interesting to us and there's something motivating us, it's relevant to our life. Children are no different. And so by taking them out and showing them how we can learn from the things around us, asking your child, what are you excited to learn about? What do you find interesting? And then finding a place where you can go learn about that stuff outside, not just on the YouTube videos, not just on the library books, although those are great too. Obviously, learn through as many different means as you can, right? But if you can get your child out to a place where they can really get hands-on with things and they can learn about things that they find interesting, and they can see that, oh, look, when I'm interested in something, here's how I go learn about it. I don't just go to YouTube. I don't just go to the library. I go to these places where I can, go to a museum, or I can shadow somebody who has a job in this particular area, whatever it is. Or I go find a place where something important happened in the history of this thing, whatever it is, right? We are teaching our children, when we take those opportunities, that learning is not something that stops at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It does not stop at 18 or at 21 or whenever you get your last degree that you're going for and you leave formal schooling, we're showing them that learning happens all the time, everywhere around us, and that even as adults, we can continue to learn and we want to continue to learn. Not only those two things, but lastly, one of the most important reasons why your homeschool should not only happen in your home is because out there in the real world is where the actual socialization happens, right? The big S word in homeschooling. Socialization is not sitting in a room full of kids who are the same age as you. That is not socialization. That is forced association, and it doesn't honestly teach you all that much. But socialization, when we actually get out into the real world and we interact with lots of different people, people who look different from us, people who think differently from us, people who make less money or more money, people who speak a different language, who eat different kinds of foods, that is how you learn true socialization. That is how you become socialized, learning how to interact with all sorts of people. And if you are just stuck inside your house all day, that's not going to happen, right? So looking for opportunities, and this does not mean that you have to spend all sorts of money joining a co-op or joining classes. Those are things that can certainly help. And depending on the kinds of things that your child wants to learn and that you feel capable of teaching them, you may find that you want to outsource some things and have them go into classes or co-ops or different activities where they are going to be taught those things formally by somebody else. But even that is not necessary for socialization. Going to the park, maybe going to a different town and going to their park, right? Meeting new people, playing with different people, going to a children's museum and interacting with other kids, going to the zoo and interacting with, the people who are there, the zookeepers, the people who, same at like a museum, the docents who will tell you about the things there, tell you about the exhibits, tell you about the animals, asking them questions, interacting with them. This is how children actually get socialized. And that's never going to happen if you are only inside your house. So as you look at homeschooling, if for those of you who have not yet started, or maybe those of you who have just started and you're trying to figure out how this whole thing works, if you have been thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to be so bored stuck in the house all the time, you have to realize that is not the best way to homeschool. You don't want to be stuck inside the house. In fact, if nothing else, you should take your books, take your workbooks, take your stuff, whatever it is, pack up the car, take it somewhere else to work on. Take it to the park, take it to the beach, take it to the zoo, take it to the library, take it down to, the river, wherever you want to go, where your children can not just be doing their schoolwork, but they can be interacting with nature, they can be learning about the world that's around them, and they can be interacting with other people. That is one of the best and most wonderful parts about homeschooling. And that is how we can ensure that our children get not just a well-rounded education, but that they fully get that socialization that we all, not all of us worry about, but that many people worry about. That's how it's going to happen, getting them out into the world. So I hope that has been helpful for you if you are new to homeschooling or if you've been kind of thinking about it and you're not quite sure. And that's one of the things that has held you back, thinking you're going to be stuck in the house all the time. Does not have to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Look for ways to get your kids out into the world and use the world as your curriculum. Don't forget to go to goodschooling.net, scroll to the bottom, and put in your email address so that you can get more encouragement and advice and homeschooling hacks and tips to help you on your homeschool adventure. And I will talk to you again soon. Take care and thanks, guys. Bye.